The following is a hockey podcast out of Vancouver and Surrey, British Columbia. It'll only consist of a lot of puck talk and even more BS, or in actual words, banter and satire. Enjoy, and as always, go Canucks go.
On a night where Vancouver Canucks fans got it right, why do we get treated so poorly? Come on.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, welcome to the POSTCAST here on Locked On Canucks. My name is Trevor Beggs, and KP in the comments, he's got it right. Bring out the Johnny Walker for this one. Man, oh man, I'm still under the weather, but I'm doing better than this Vancouver Canucks roster. Bodies dropping like flies, and of course the big story tonight: the short king, the biggest the guy who packs the most pounds per punch in the NHL, Conor Garland, my size, man. How is a guy my size playing in the NHL? He goes down tonight, and it's just like, come on, when is this going to end for your Vancouver Canucks? No Quinn Hughes, no Conor Garland. Now about 7-8 players out of the lineup. It's official. We already knew this if you've been a fan for, part of the last 55 years. Vancouver Canucks fans just can't have nice things. And we'll see what the update is on Conor Garland here post-game. But this is a guy who's currently leading the team in points. And oh yeah, this team didn't score a goal without him in the lineup tonight. Despite some guys buzzing around the net. We'll get to some of the guys who stood out later on here on the POSTCAST on Locked On Canucks. Perhaps an abbreviated one, because who knows how long my voice is going to last. And I might need to crack into the Johnny Walker like KP in the comments. But let's start by saying the Canuck fans got one thing right tonight, okay? And that was how they treated JT Miller. Right? JT Miller touches the puck early in the game, gets showered with booze from the fans. At least that's what I was hearing on TV. Getting showered with booze right away. And then, of course, when the video tribute comes on, the Canuck fans applaud JT Miller, and rightly so. You can be bitter about the way he left, and we see it in the comments. You see it throughout Canucks Nation. So much Team Miller, so much Team Pettersson. But the Canuck fans got it right tonight by saying, by giving him the booze early on when he touched the puck. I mean, come on, be Team Pettersson, right? Get the guys here now. But he also provided 6 years of amazing memories for Canucks fans. And of course, finishing with the second most points per game all time among Canucks Nation either. And let's see Too Short in the comments saying the booing and then the cheering. You can say Canucks fans, maybe they were a little bit bipolar there, but I think that was the exact right reaction for JT Miller. And wouldn't it be nice if JT Miller was still on this team? Because again, we talked about it earlier today. But going into this matchup, it'd be nice if it was Mancini, Hedl, and Marcus Pettersson all out there with JT Miller on the other side for the New York Rangers. But of course, all we have is Marcus Pettersson. And quick shout out to Marcus Pettersson, man. It might be the only time I hit the applause button tonight, but I'm hitting the applause button for Marcus Pettersson. Man, oh man. I mean, maybe that was the play where Conor Garland was injured when he takes that big hit in the first period from Sam Carrick. He bounced right back up like you barely knew he was even on the ice. And of course, he played another 25 minutes after that. But Marcus Pettersson, man, this guy, I can't believe this guy is having NHL fights still. And we've seen it before, like the fighting the Tom Wilson and fighting Jonah Gadjevit, fighting the toughest dudes in hockey. Marcus Pettersson at 6'5", 177 pounds. How does that make any sense? And he hung in there against Sam Carrick, who's definitely a thicker boy than Marcus Pettersson, pretty much like every skater in the NHL. But again, Kyle Ballin talked about it. We talked about it earlier this week. Every dayers know. This team has not shown enough toughness. They have not shown enough standing up for each other. Where's Evander Kane in those moments? But Marcus Pettersson stepped up right away and answered the bell for his teammate, Conor Garland. Now, if only, there could be some goal scoring to, right the ship for the Canucks in the other direction as well. Because man, a night where, again, 2-0 defeat to the New York Rangers. It was a rough one for your Vancouver Canucks. And look, 5-6 on the season now. And we've talked about the good things, right? Elias Pettersson again looking like he's back, although again a couple plays tonight where you're going, come on, man. Sitting beside my wife, she's trashing Elias Pettersson. What's he doing on that empty net goal, letting the puck go? Like that was a brain fart and a half. In a moment where the game still could have been had for the Canucks, in a moment where they were buzzing 6-on-5, and he lets the puck slide into the empty net. What are you doing, Petey? But again, he's one of the only Canucks that's truly going right now. Again, just a lunch bucket, hardworking team overall. And the Canucks just need so much more from the rest of their lineup. I want to talk about Lukas Reichel quickly. The guy who, he's playing in that old JT Miller spot, if you want to call it that. The second line center spot. And he looks like he should have had like 5 or 6 goals over his first 3 games with the Vancouver Canucks. Tonight, again, the toe drag on Jonathan Quick. Getting in the slot for some big chances as well. You can see the speed. It's evident. Again, not a guy that gets kind of pushed around in the corners a little bit. So not the perfect player, obviously, but a guy who's really showing something here in Vancouver. Now, I am wondering if this guy is going to be a breakout candidate for the Canucks, because it is seemingly trending in that direction for Lukas Reichel. Again, flawed player. Faceoffs are a problem. Forechecking's a problem. But this is a guy who can find himself in open spaces, and he's playing with line mates right now who can get him the puck. And sooner or later, if Reichel keeps doing the things that he's doing, he's going to convert on some chances for the Vancouver Canucks. And again, early days, he hasn't even scored a goal yet. But considering that this guy was shopping for Halloween costumes, the next thing you know, he's sleeping in an airport. It's been a good start for Lukas Reichel, despite the fact that he's got nothing on the score sheet so far. Let's rip through it right now. I'm going to go through report cards, go through every player. Again, Lukas Reichel. What's he going to get? Find on the other side here on Locked On Canucks. All right, this is report cards on Locked On Canucks. 5-ish minute report cards on Locked On Canucks. We'll see if I can get to 5 tonight. Who knows? And let's start off the top with Tom Willander, the debut for Tom Willander in the Vancouver Canucks. And I was kind of impressed with Tom Willander tonight, considering the circumstances. If you've watched any Abbey Canucks this year, this guy has not played fantastic down there. But overall, had a pretty good game tonight. The speed that we saw in preseason, that was evident. Even some playmaking ability. And I know this team's depleted. This team's depleted when a dude in his first NHL game is getting power play time and time at 6-on-5. But he had a couple chances where he was setting up teammates in good positions there. Look, the smarts are there in Tom Willander's game. And this is why you got to be hesitant. And we've talked about it, right? Every day is no. You got to be really careful about trading a guy like Tom Willander. For his debut tonight, I'd give him a B+ overall. I thought it was a very solid night for Tom Willander. Brock Besser, give him a B- again. Yeah, it's creating some chances, but you'd like to see more. Pierre-Olivier Joseph, I think probably the best grade I'm going to give him yet. I'm going to give him a B overall. The speed was there tonight. He wasn't just buried playing 10 minutes. He got up to 14-37 on the night. This is a dude who can skate. A lot of other sloppy plays with the puck, but hey, at least he can skate, man. Conor Garland, and incomplete, man. But look, he did play 2 periods. Again, he's one of the Canucks' most dangerous offensive players when he's on the ice. And let's bump up the grade, man, just because I miss him already. Let's hope he's not gone for an extended period of time, because it's crazy the amount of injuries the Canucks have right now. We'll get to some of your comments and more on that on the other side. I give Conor Garland an A-. R.C. Baines, look, at some point, there's got to be a bottom line for this Abbey Canucks line. And I know Max Aston, you can't rag on this guy. He's got the 3 goals. But Linus Karlsson hasn't really gone on the score sheet. A couple assists for him, couple assists for Baines. Those guys at some point, I think, are going to need to convert. And they were pretty quiet tonight overall. So I'd give R.C. Baines a C. Philip Hronek just munched the minutes out there, okay? Pushing the 30-minute mark, 28-33 overall tonight. I'm going to give him a B+ overall. He looks like a number 1 defenseman out there. Not Quinn Hughes-esque, but a number 1 defenseman. Drew O'Connor skating hard, but mishandling the puck. Let's give him a B-. DPD, I thought, looked good tonight. Again, DPD is another guy having to step up in the absence of all these players getting up to 17-33 tonight overall. Let's give him a B+. Marcus Pettersson, man, standing up for his teammates. I'm giving him an A just for that, man. Again, we need more guys on the Canucks that stand up for each other. It's got to be like brothers in there, or this Canucks team isn't doing anything. Elias Pettersson, again, a guy who's showcasing the speed, looking like he's back, getting us excited, but also making a couple boneheaded plays tonight. I already referenced the empty netter. He had another giveaway in the offensive zone earlier. I think it was in the first period. But drawing penalties, looking more creative with the puck, that dash to the net where he gets slashed. I mean, he looks more confident out there, but it was not a perfect game for him tonight. Let's give him a B- overall. Key for the Reefer Sherwood, man. Banging bodies, B for him. Aturatu, give him a C. Tyler Myers, chaotic, man. Let's give that guy a C. Max Aston, C+. Lucas Reichel, I'm giving him an A-. Again, I thought he was one of the better Canucks out there. I really don't like how he gets pushed off the puck so easily on the boards. But there's a lot to like about his game overall. Jake DeBrusk is a guy I'm really starting to notice more as well. Showing the speed. Again, finding some guys on the top line, like actually showing chemistry, not just floating out there. That play to Pettersson, that was another one where Pettersson probably should have had, where DeBrusk passes it through Quick's pads and it goes right by Pettersson. But Jake DeBrusk, again, he's ideally a second liner, but he's stepping up and looking a bit better out there overall. Evander Kane, let's give him a C overall. Linus Karlsson, C. And Thatcher Demko, how do you give Thatcher Demko anything but an A? The dude is the reason why the Canucks are in games right now, even though you say he was outdueled by Jonathan Quick tonight. But the Rangers, it was a mid-ass game between two mid-ass teams. It's making me, I feel more sick than I did 3 hours ago, man, watching this game. But the Rangers were the better mid-team tonight. All right, let's cut to a quick break, get to some of your comments, maybe even an appearance from Kyle Bowen. That's all coming up next here on Locked On Canucks. All right. This episode brought to you by FanDuel, baby. You know that if you're betting on NBA, NFL, MLB, or the NHL, you can find it on FanDuel. And right now, if you're a new customer, FanDuel's hooking you up. You can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. The Canucks were underdogs on the money line tonight, and maybe rightfully so. And if you decided to bet against the Canucks, why the hell would you do that? You would have come up on top on FanDuel. Heading into week 9 of the NFL, I'm checking out my Seattle Seahawks versus the Washington Commandos. You know that a Seahawk would eat a Commando. No question about it. So whatever the spread is, go take the Seahawks, baby. Again, whatever you're betting on, go check out FanDuel. New customers bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets, and that's on FanDuel.com. Let's talk quickly about the monies, baby, and shout out our friends over at Monarch Money. All right. You know, most people can't even list all their financial accounts. They don't even know what they mean. A TFSA, an RSP, and ABC. What are those things? It's easy to lose track, and that can mean leaving money on the table. That's why I started using Monarch, an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or on your phone. And Monarch, man, not only does it help me manage my money, it helps me manage my stress, baby. And I'm feeling good because of Monarch, because with Monarch, I can link my accounts with my wife's. And you know what they say about less stress? It means now with less stress, you can last 43 seconds longer in the bedroom. That means I can last 87 seconds overall, and it's all thanks to Monarch. So don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks and improve your stress. Use code LOCKEDONNHL at monarch.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarch.com, code LOCKEDONNHL for half off of your first year, baby. All right. We're back here on Locked On Canucks, your Canucks every day and every night, baby. And man, oh man, I think a lot of you noticing in the comments, it's the injuries are the story in Vancouver right now. And it would be nice to see what this team looked like if they had somewhat close to a full stable of roster players, right? And again, no offense to the Abbey Canuck line, but it's a great story, and I think they were a good story early on, especially when they saved the Canucks in 2 games. But that is probably not a line if you got a full stable of players. Like Jonathan Lecker-Mackey, we barely got to know you, buddy. Quinn Hughes looking a little slow, and now boom, he's gone. And now we're missing 3 defensemen. Kyle at the studio. I didn't realize Kyle was at the studio tonight. Kyle Bowen joining the program. What's going on, buddy? My voice, I got a few minutes left in my voice, but let's hear your sexy voice, man. What's going on? How you feeling? Do you feel more average after watching this game? Because I was average hockey game between 2 average teams right there.
No, I can't feel average. I'm in the studio right now. I got 10 minutes. Uncle Strut recording in the back, so there's no way to feel average when you're around that quality of neighbor. Speaking of which, Evander Kane, man. Evander Kane. This dude's stressing me out. And Trevor, again, you can vouch for the Don't Doze Art Lab. There's not a place that takes care of the neighbors more than the Don't Doze Art Lab. Okay, there's probably, 50 non-for-profit charity people who are actually feeding the people on the streets on a rainy day. Way better than us. But all in all, we're good neighbors here. And we like to co-sign the people from the 604. But Evander Kane, this guy plays with way too much ego. How come a 34, 35-year-old Evander Kane takes 90-second shifts? What's going on here? How many offensive zone turnovers has this guy put forth against his own defense? And then this guy chooses not to back check because his shifts are too long and he's too old. And he's he came off major surgery last year. Just stay humble, sit down, listen to some Kendrick, and do less. Do less. And if the people of Vancouver are paying top quality Canadian dollar, you know what the Canadian dollar is right now? You know what I'm saying? Say what you want. Not worth a lot against the American dollar, but the Canadian dollar right now is stretched right now. Okay, people spending money to go to Rogers Arena, and you can't even back check for the life of you because it just shows I don't know, too much ego or something. Something's going on, and I'm just getting annoyed, man. I'm getting annoyed, and just I know the injuries are here, and it's not his fault. He's playing a lot too. It is what it is. Maybe good on him that he's trying to be accountable and lead and do the most out there, but this team is too injured to have its veteran players not back check. And there's too many young players on this team employed by the Canucks playing these games, seeing again, one of the veteran players who's getting paid $5 million or whatever to not back check. That era's over. You got to buy in, and it's just not been a good start for Evander Kane at the Vancouver Canuck. And you helped the Oilers out, taking on his contract, and it's not blowing up in their face, but it's just you want way more. And with all these injuries, now you got Garland going out. Enough is enough. I'm not saying waive this guy, but how about Evander Kane step up because the team needs you.
Yeah, because again, you look at this lineup and the amount of injuries, and there's no obvious answer to replace Evander Kane. I mean, the depth at left wing is it's subpar, man. Unless you want to elevate RC Baines again. I mean, that kind of worked in the first game or so of the season. I know the Abbey Canucks line's been a nice story. I feel like I was ragging on them a little bit, but again, it's just you're looking for offense from somewhere. And again, it came in the Edmonton game, but in the Montreal game, it was just Pettersson and Garland. And then tonight, obviously, it was no one doing the job. And it just really, really hurts that Garland out of the lineup, man.
And yeah, Kane makes a good play to best in the Edmonton game, good, and you played your best game, good job. But then you follow it up with another offensive zone turnover and another offensive zone penalty. I don't know how many he has. He probably maybe only has one, but this team continues to take offensive zone penalties. It's yeah. All that being said, the game wasn't perfect, but 2 things did happen that I really, really enjoyed. And I'm sorry if you touched on this already. I'm late to the party here, but Tom Willander looked smooth today. He looked confident, and this team is so battered and bruised right now that they actually need people going above expectation to stay afloat, for real. The team's 5-6. The Canucks need to get to 10 and 10 at 20 games, and that's going to be hard. They're injured. They're injured. They're this is I want to let's do an episode on this tomorrow with you doing your data, but this is turning into the Phil Kessel curse, for real. No, for real. In 20 months or 21 months after the Canucks ditched Phil Kessel in Abbotsford, the Iron Man leader, the guy who never gets hurt, and the best guy in the NHL, everyone's best friend. Is this karma for leaving him in Abbotsford? Because everyone's gotten hurt in the last 20 plus months. And look at what's happened this October. This is brutal. Like, this is as bad as it's ever been for me as being a Canucks fan when it comes to like how many injuries are having right now. Okay, for real. This is the curse of Phil Kessel tomorrow. That's tomorrow's episode. So again, we need everyone stepping up, and I'm confident that Tom Willander can back this up and play another amazing game against St. Louis. Like that guy's cocky, confident, and like he needed a strong game today, right, for himself. Because again, we need him. But all in all, like I was proud of him. I was proud of him for real.
Yeah, I did touch on report cards. I think I gave him a B plus. Like I was kind of surprised. Like you watch some of the Abbotsford highlights, the Abbotsford tape. Like he's been kind of up and down to start the season down there, but a very good performance for him overall tonight. And Kyle, you talk about the schedule, man, oh man. I mean, like I think these next two games coming up, and again we'll get into it more kind of as the Canucks get on the road here, but the Blues and the Wild, like those are two games that I've really, or two teams that I really have circled on the calendar for the Canucks, because that's like their direct competition for a wild card spot in my eyes, right?
Why you gotta
Like
come
those
on?
are the games where like that's the measuring stick for the Canucks. They're not like they can beat Dallas and Colorado on an off night, but those aren't the cup contenders. How do they look? Or sorry, those are the cup contenders. The Canucks are not. How do they look against the teams on the bubble? Like, can they be a playoff team? And again, the first test against St. Louis didn't go that well. The whole Pius Suter versus Evander Kane thing is even more at the forefront now, heading into that game too. But Kyle, let's just look quickly at the schedule, and then we'll get to a comment or two. But the Canucks, they go on the road here: Blues, Wild, and Preds. Blackhawks and Blue Jackets after that at Rogers Arena. But the Canucks' next 6 games after that get the Avalanche at home, Jets at home, on the road to the Hurricanes, road to the Lightning, road to the Panthers, and then back home against the Stars. That's a pretty brutal 6-game stretch there in the middle of November. And at that point, you're going to be at the quarter pole. Like, so the Canucks, they really need to start banking wins before that stretch, because that is a tough stretch for this team, who, again, hopefully they at least get some bodies back by then, because that's a stretch right now, looking at the schedule, that scares me.
Trevor, one game at a time. Okay, that's what that's why the second best dad in the world, not the first best dad in the world, because again, you're not looking at this right. One game at a time. And on that note, can you answer how many back-to-backs are in that 6-game stretch?
I can. Let's see. 1, 2. Yeah.
Okay, so
the back-to-backs are they play the Avalanche on the second night of back-to-backs after hosting the Blue Jackets at home.
Yeah.
And then they play the Florida Panthers on the second night of back-to-backs after playing the Lightning the day before.
Okay, so Thatcher Demko's getting the next 2 starts then against the Wild and the St. Louis Blues. Dude,
I don't think so. No, Kevin Langland's gonna get one of those starts.
Nope. Not gonna happen.
I would pick Kevin Langland to have a bounce back against the Blues.
I want them to play that card. I do, because you got to co-sign the goalie, right? You got to give Kevin Langland some confidence here. But I'm telling you, if I'm taking the hit at Thatcher Demko, like I'm stuffing my pipe with that and smoking it, I'm not scared of the papatitis, like whatever. Like I'm not scared of that. Like, bro, this is dire times. If the Canucks were half healthy, then maybe you roll that. But I think Adam Foote's going to take the hit. And Trevor, I got to actually go. I think you have to go too, right? Your voice is like, come on, just go to sleep, okay? Seriously. Like, I'm sorry about the comments. We'll get to another day, but
I'll read a couple more comments. I'll stay for a few more to read some comments.
Okay. Yeah, it could. You're a Canadian hero. Number 2, the last thing I want to talk about is kudos Marcus Pettersson for stepping up. Kudos Marcus Pettersson for stepping up after Conor Garland gets exploited. That's exactly what the team needs, and that's why I feel like a victor today, for real. That was cool, and that's why I'm also annoyed at Evander Kane too, because you know what? A lot of people paid money to come to the game today. I'm not saying you hurt somebody or injure somebody, but that game was dead for a long time. And if it's not for Thatcher Demko, like this team's not in it. But what if you nailed somebody in the second period? What if you laid the boom in the second period? Got physical. What are you here for? Like, you're here for a lot of things. So I know I shouldn't be asking for a lot, because Marcus Pettersson did do a cultural thing today and stand up for Conor Garland against a tough opponent. But just makes you think, man. Makes you think. What was the point of Evander Kane? No, for real. What was the point of Evander Kane? We should have kept Dakota Joshua. Anyways, I'm out.
All right, peace out, Kyle Bowen, and let's throw it to the commenters here as we wrap up on Locked On Canucks. Yeah, a lot of hate for Evander Kane in this episode today. Zach saying, "I'm begging, just get rid of him." I also got to shout out another comment from Zach, and let's remember this one. Zach in the comments saying, "If we somehow win against the St. Louis Blues, I'm a shit myself." I'm telling you, man, the Canucks are going to win against the Blues just because you said that comment, Zach. So, I got some diapers here, adult diapers, kid diapers, whatever you need. But let's remember that one. Canuck fan shits himself after the team beats the Blues. Too short. Is this Conor Garland, actually? He's bringing some fire in the comments today. I mentioned the bipolar reaction from fans, and you hit the nail on the head, the bipolar, like the love for the team. And, Kyle and I, we can be emotional on Locked On Canucks, right? And sometimes it might sound like we're bipolar towards the team, but, even though I might be, in the dorm or at Rogers Arena when I'm not, sounding like a dying frog, I'm a fan first, man. I'm a fan first, and I will always be a fan first. So sometimes you might get some bipolar episodes. And again, mid-game between two mid-ass teams, and this isn't just mid, it's bad, but 11 shots for the Canucks after 2 periods. Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. And the vibes went south in the comments here too, man. Holy. Nancy Bowen in the comments, and she was I don't know if she's making fun of my voice or saying she felt bad for me, but she dropped this comment saying, here's the thing that people aren't going to love. If Hughes isn't everything this season, why not trade him for some great new blood? Everyone will be stuck on his history. Whoa. Is this what we're campaigning for in Vancouver now? Just trade Quinn Hughes. We're mid anyways. It's all good. Kick off the rebuild. Yeah, I feel like I'm getting older in life. I feel like I'm 32 going on 82 right now, just based on the way my voice is sounding. I'm not ready for a rebuild, man. I want to see if this team can do anything with the core of Hughes, Pettersson, and Demko. And maybe I'm crazy. And do I feel super confident in it? No. But a long rebuild, I don't feel super confident in that either. And again, it can go great, like the Montreal Canadiens, who again are in that fringe playoff territory. They're not necessarily a contender yet. It can also go south, like the Buffalo Sabres. But I see where Nancy's coming from, because if this team is decisively mid or bad for the rest of the season, it's going to become a talking point, right? Again, Quinn Hughes can, pump Elias Pettersson's tires. He can go out there and make magic happen. But if this team's bad, he's going to have one foot out the door. And by the way, the Devils are one of the best teams in hockey so far this season. So that's the darkness there. But let's end on a positive note, Max. I can't end it like that, man. It's too dark, man. Too short also saying Demko can beat cup contenders. Doesn't know about the team, but Thatcher Demko gets the chance to win, or this team a chance to win every night. Again, hockey is weird, man. The Canucks are 5-6. They haven't played great. But they also beat Washington, which is the best team in the NHL last season, or the second best team in the East. You know what I'm saying? And we beat Dallas and played one of our best games against of the season against them. And we beat Edmonton as well. So, I mean, the Canucks can be good teams. But we know right now, just watching, the results aren't quite there. The process isn't crisp. This is a team that's getting outplayed more often than not and being saved by Demko. But last comment, to Trust in Petey from Let's Go Petey and Let's Go Petey. And I got to get out of here and drink some green tea. So one love to you and you for tuning into this episode of Locked On Canucks. Putting in the effort, man. Putting in the most, okay? Again, not the smartest guys in the world, but the guys who give a shit, okay? That's me, and that's Kyle Bowen here on Locked On Canucks. If you like what we're doing, go share the episode with a friend. You can like and subscribe on YouTube, on the podcast side. Go follow us. Leave a 5-star review. One love to Nancy Bowen, NGK, Curly Penis, and all our commenters here on Locked On Canucks. We'll talk to you next time on Locked On Canucks, your Canucks every day.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.